I figured we should probably go ahead and get down to business. Welcome everybody to Alloy 7. Tonight, obviously, or today, whenever you may be watching this, we're going to be talking about 7 proven ways to market your B2C company or business here on YouTube. I've spent quite a bit of time working with creators. My name is Brian Chambers, for those of you that don't know me here at Alloy 7, otherwise known as BC. Spent a lot of time working with different types of creators on YouTube. Got certified back in 2014 in the arena of audience growth with Google. But then began to work with clients outside of the YouTube space too, different businesses, different organizations, large and small, working to hopefully build their brands and build their clout and build their ability to reach potential customers, potential people who want to hear the message that these people are spreading in the YouTube space. So I wanted to bring some of that to bear here at Alloy 7, since the primary focus here is helping creators of all types, whether it be entertainers, whether it be folks doing DIY, or whether it be small or even large businesses, hoping to come to the YouTube space and manage it properly. One of the problems that I see with people across the board, whether it's business folks or whether it's just individual entertainers or video creators, they really don't have an understanding of, one, what the platform in terms of the audience is looking for in the YouTube space, because it's very much different than other types of entertainment. And as you see when we go through the discussion tonight, you're going to see that it's similar in some ways too, but especially with businesses understanding the types of content that work here, knowing kind of the first rule of thumb is that this is not television. So the things that work well on television don't necessarily work quite as well in the YouTube space, and some things really don't work at all. And a lot of that has to do with demographics and psychographics, things that most of you who are already in business understand. So I want to welcome everybody here. Got a lot of good information to go through here tonight with this 7 proven ways. I'm going to talk to you probably a little bit differently than you've seen or heard in the blogs. Some of the meat of what I'm going to talk about is not all going to sound alien to you, but you have to understand, even though these things work, there's a right way, or I should say an effective way to do it on YouTube that may be different from what you're used to, different from what you've experienced. So some of the clients that I work with in the real world, not just creators, but businesses, they've tried their hand at YouTube. They've tried to upload videos and use those videos to draw attention to their products, their services, or even to information related to the company at hand. And they found mediocre and sometimes poor results. And again, that really goes back to a lack of understanding when it comes to exactly how YouTube works. Okay, not just the algorithms and the search engine optimization, things that I teach in the YouTube Ninja Academy that I run here, but also what audiences come here looking for and what type of audience is really here on YouTube. And you may be surprised to find that there's many different types of audiences looking for different types of content, but there's certain things that just have a tendency to work time and time again. So we're going to get into that tonight. I want to see, first off, before I get too far gone, if we have anybody leaving comments thus far. It looks like we're good to go. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and jump into the content. I want to welcome all of you that have joined us live. For those of you who are watching after the fact, one of the things I want to point out, especially for those of you watching live, is before this is over, I'm going to share with you some tools and materials completely for free that are going to help you accelerate your ability to be successful on YouTube, whether it's trying to grow a channel, whether it's trying to build a channel and wrap a community around it so that you can continue to promote and make people aware of your products, your services, or if you are a individual creator, the types of videos that you're trying to make. So first and foremost, for you B2C businesses out there, the main thing that I have to drive home a lot of times when I'm working with businesses is that YouTube is not a place for you to put your commercials. Okay, this isn't a chance for you to do, basically ads, because your viewers already get enough ads as it is. And 9 out of 10 ads are either boring, not relevant to the person who's watching them, or just frankly not something that the viewer wants to watch. You have to remember, a large percentage of the people who view anything online, not just YouTube, but websites in general, have what's called ad blocker. So if a large portion of your audience is already telling you based on the software that they use that they don't want to see ads, You coming to YouTube and just dropping an advertisement for your business is not really going to have the desired effect. It's not like radio, and it's not like television. You have to remember, depending on where and when you're advertising, if you do so on television and radio, you have to realize that the audiences are very different. Now, if you've been running a business for a while and you have been doing kind of conventional advertising, again on television, radio, or even in print media, you have an understanding of the demographics, as the person that you're advertising with is telling you, based on the product or the service that you're trying to sell, this is going to be the best time slot, the best show, the best place to place your ad to get the audience that you're looking for. For example, if you were to turn on CNN at 11 o'clock in the morning, a lot of the advertisements you're going to see are for things like AARP, life insurance, veterans assistance for purchasing homes. Why? Because of the bulk of the people who are going to be watching CNN at 11 o'clock in the morning is an older crowd, probably a retired crowd. One of the things you'll see very often if you watch CNN at that time is Tom Selleck coming on and talking about why reverse mortgages aren't such a bad thing. Well, when you look at the bulk of what the YouTube audience is, the bulk, especially the American YouTube audience, the bulk of that are not people interested in reverse loans, okay? They're not people interested in AARP, all right? Or by and large, they're usually not veterans looking for VA loans for their home. All right, so if you come to YouTube using the same mentality that you've used to, let's say, advertise at 11 o'clock on CNN, you're going to come up short. You're going to come up very short. And then you're going to do that for a while. You're going to spend a lot of money trying to promote these videos if you're running these videos through YouTube's ad system. And you're going to either waste a lot of money and get no results, or you're not going to spend any money. You're just going to upload videos, and what you're going to end up wasting is money, because now you've wasted time making a bunch of videos that nobody wants to watch. And a lot of the people that I've worked with have spent time doing that, trying to figure out what's the best commercial I can put up about my company. And what you're going to see is the best commercial that you can put up is a video that understands the YouTube audience much better than 9 out of 10 of the businesses that come here and really don't know how to work with the platform. And I remember when I first started my first business years ago, I tried to use YouTube as a platform to advertise it, and my ads were ridiculous because they were music videos that had ads embedded into them, not in like a malicious, manipulative way, but there was no continuity. There was no why is there an advertisement for this guy's travel agency in the middle of a music video? And because at the time when it came to the YouTube platform, and I was new even in business at the time, I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to do anything and everything to draw attention to the work that I was doing. And what I find with a lot of creators and a lot of business owners is they do exactly the same thing. It's like they really don't know, so they just try a bunch of stuff without really going and doing the research. And what I hope to be able to do for you tonight is identify how we can at least, we're not going to be able to cover everything in this video, obviously. We're going to have to get you into some of my programs, get you some of my free materials to help you flesh that out. But tonight, let's at least dispel some of the myths. Let's give you an idea and get you focused in the right direction, so that as we continue to build a relationship here on YouTube and I'm helping you, you'll be able to accelerate your ability to be successful with your advertisements, with promoting your products and services or your videos if you're an individual creator. So, if YouTube's not about commercials, what is YouTube about? It's very simple. YouTube is about connection. It's about making a trustworthy and mutually beneficial connection between you and the people who are watching your videos, okay? So when you look at the entertainers who are on YouTube, you look at the folks that are doing vlogs, you look at the beauty vertical, you look at folks doing DIY, there's no doubt that the folks who are consuming that content either want to be entertained, they want to be informed, or they want to get some type of self-help. But at the end of the day, what's so unique about YouTube is that it's very personal. All right, a lot of the most successful people you see here aren't making blockbuster type videos where there's huge amounts, and some people do, but where there's huge amounts of Hollywood-esque professional production going into these videos. It's really a lot of times like me, a person standing here in front of his iPhone camera talking to an audience about something that my audience cares about. And what happens is not only are you coming and getting informed or being entertained, you're making a connection with me. There's a relationship being built here that really doesn't exist in conventional media. There's maybe a slight relationship you could argue in radio, because you're listening to your artist, or especially if you're listening to talk radio, you're listening to people have discussions. You may have an opportunity to call into the show, but it's still very distant. Whereas with YouTube, it gives you an immediate connection to the folks who are watching your videos and the folks who are commenting on your videos. It gives you the ability to respond in almost in real time and say, hey, I loved your comment, here's what's going on. So the strength, really the backbone of what makes YouTube go from a non-technical perspective, just from a human perspective, is that connection. You know, the you in YouTube is what really matters. And that's cliche and it's kind of corny, but it's absolutely true. Okay, the you in the YouTube is really the most important thing. Now, obviously, you want to be giving something of value, but what you're going to notice, what I teach the creators that I coach, over time, the people are going to be there for you. Some of my favorite channels, and I mean people that I watch every day, they make stuff that honestly, 6 times out of 10, I couldn't care less about what they're reviewing or talking about. I just love listening to them talk because they're funny or they bring me some level of nostalgia. But the bottom line is there's a relationship being formed there. Not necessarily like a real life relationship where we're hanging out and throwing the football, but there is a relationship that's being born because this is a person that I'm seeing every day and listening to every day, and is interacting with me in some tangible way that television and other forms of conventional media really don't allow. And that's really, in my opinion, from a psychology perspective, that's why I think YouTube has been such an explosive phenomenon globally. Okay, because it's not just in the States. I mean, I have tons of viewers from across the world. I mean, I have people who literally, because of the coaching and the training that I do, people who use translators to send me messages, because what we have the ability to do here is so powerful to influence lives in a positive way that people will take the time and translate their language into mine and say, hey, I don't speak your language. This is probably going to sound a little confusing, but can you help me, or can I share something with you? You know, and a lot of times I'll put my stuff back into a translator that they can read, just to show respect. Because usually I can tell what language. I know enough about languages to know most of the time what language people are using. But even if I don't, Google can detect it and tell me. You know, if someone, for example, someone writes to me in Spanish, usually I can just read it and I can respond to it without a translator, or maybe I have to use a translator to clean up some of my grammar, but I usually at least know what's being said. But the point is, it's such a powerful medium that people can actually watch it without even being able to speak my language, you know, or at least being able to speak my language in a fluent manner. And that's why I think YouTube has been such a huge just phenomenon in a very relatively short amount of time. You're talking 11 years this has been around, and it's already beating out, you know, there's YouTubers beating out the Super Bowl, you know, which has been around, you know, the NFL has been around for over 100 years. So the Super Bowl hasn't, but the championships in the NFL, or what became the NFL, have. And so just to kind of flesh it out with a story to drive the point home, back in 1983, you look at the Chicago Cubs, whereas a lot of teams, there was this mystique and this separation between the audience, the fans, and the players. What the owner of the Cubs decided to do, because they were struggling, I think they were struggling at the time, they've kind of perpetually struggled, and what the owner decided to do was start hosting dinners and live events where the fans could come and interact with the players and with the owners and with the managers, and really start to build a relationship. And when you look at how successful ticket sales were, even when the team wasn't doing well why was that? Well, it's because the team made a human connection with their audience, with their fans, such that the fans supported them even when they weren't great. And that's really, I mean, this guy had that figured out back in the 80s. Okay, so it's what YouTube is doing is not necessarily new. It's just Google understood, or YouTube understood, that human connection is very visceral. It's very hard to break. When you have a bond with somebody, it's very hard to break that bond. You know, I've watched shows on YouTube where the hosts have changed, and it's taken me a while to get used to the new host, because I'm so invested in the host. Or a more practical example, I remember being a kid and watching reruns, because I was clearly not old enough or alive when the show started. But when Star Trek started, I started watching reruns of that when I was a kid. And then I remember the TV station I used to watch it on stopped airing it, and they started airing Star Trek: The Next Generation. And I was just crushed because I had formed relationships with Captain Kirk and Spock and Dr. McCoy and or Bones and Scotty, all these people, Uhura, I had relationships with, virtual. I want to see what's going to happen next. And then TV took that away from me and put in Next Generation, which at first I didn't like. Fast forward to today, and The Next Generation is my favorite thing that's ever happened on television, or really in entertainment, period. So there's relationships being formed there, even in this case, conventional media. But that's what the owner of the Chicago Cubs have figured out. If you make a connection with the people, you not only make them fans, you make them an active part of the organization. And then what you have there is not just somebody that spends money with you, because at the end of the day, you don't just want your customers to spend money. You want them to be a part of what you're doing. At least this is my philosophy. I want people who spend money on my products to feel like they're a part of the product's evolution, that they're a part of the products, they're a part of my company's success when it succeeds. Not just because they gave their money, but because they also spent time with me. They spent time with the products and with me on the live VIP calls that I do in my paid programs. And everything that I'm giving out and teaching and training, what a lot of people don't understand if you've never been a coach or a trainer, is that a lot of times you learn more from the person you're training than they learn from you. It's just the way the relationship works. But as that relationship's formed, these people, they can look back when Alloy 7 is a $1 billion publicly traded company. They can look back and say, I was a part of that. Not just this dude got rich off of selling me stuff. They can look back and say, I was a part of that success. I count their success as my success as well. And that's really one of the things that I want to help you do. And here's the catch though. Building that is not easy. The things I'm going to share with you tonight aren't going to overnight just turn you into a person that can do what I'm talking about. A lot of us have spent years, like I've spent years off of YouTube. And actually I've spent 2 decades off of YouTube coaching, whether it's coaching Little League football, coaching professional soldiers, coaching people in Fortune 500, coaching people in my businesses. I have been coaching literally since I was a teenager, all right? So this is something that I bring to the table that I know how to infuse into the YouTube space. So my experience isn't just on YouTube, it's across the board. But you have to know, I've spent 20 years building a lot of these things that I'm showing you. You're not just going to get these 7 tips and then overnight go be an expert and your business is going to take off. It's going to take practice, it's going to take time, and frankly, it's going to take people like me to help walk you through how we do this. Because tonight, in an hour to maybe 2-hour video, I'm not going to have time to walk you through how all this stuff works, because there's a lot of nuance and it's not necessarily overly complex, but it's not easy. And there's a lot of things, a lot of details that if you miss them, you're going to get it wrong and then wonder why. Some of the people I coach have been on YouTube for, almost 10 years and they don't know, like, why is my stuff not working? And you've been here for a month and your stuff is working. Well, because there's a system. All right, and it's a system that I can't fully divulge to you tonight because it's not that easy. There's a lot of years of experience and learning built into this. So I'm going to give you what I can tonight, and then I'm going to show you some products, both free and paid, but mostly I'm going to show you some of my free stuff that's going to get you on the right path. And then we can have a discussion at a later time about some of the products that I sell, and I can get you into the programs and actually help you personally start to see the success that you want to see. So let's immediately jump into number 1. I think that's a good enough intro, hopefully. Just checking my notes here to make sure I have everything. Yes. So one of the first things you can do, especially as a B2C business on YouTube, one of the first types of things you can create are what we call how-to videos, okay? Or in this case, you can also call them tutorials. This is something that works really, really well in the YouTube space, especially for my DIY creators that I work with. It works really well for chefs. Like you've probably seen a lot of those Facebook videos that speed it up and show you how to make a souffle or whatever in 30 seconds. And they make it look really easy. Those things work really well because you're sharing something with somebody. Or I think one of the most popular how-to videos on YouTube is how to tie a tie. A lot of people don't know how to do that. And it's really easy. They should, like, I learned how to tie interesting types of knots with my ties from YouTube. My dad didn't know how to tie those ties. He didn't show me how to do that. I just went to YouTube and watched a minute-long video that showed me how to do it. So those videos are very powerful at getting people information that they already want. And if your business can provide somebody with information that they need or that they desperately want, or even just want a little bit, then you've got some space to start building this relationship that I'm talking with you about. Okay, so let's say, in your particular case, let's say you run a local PC repair business, right? Well, start thinking through what types of how-to videos could you make, stuff that you would just give away to people and not necessarily charge them for, but it would give them great value. You got to remember, and one of the things that's tough to work with creators is they assume that we as creators and we as business people and entrepreneurs typically assume that people know more than they do. So especially if you're my personality type, we struggle with things that we think are obvious, conveying them. And so we won't share something simple because we're like, oh, they know how to do that. But you'd be really surprised what people do not know. I have been dumbfounded many times, even in my paid programs, where people ask me a question and I had no clue they didn't know it. Not because the people lacked intelligence, they just didn't know. They didn't have access to the information, right? So as a PC repair person, what are some things that you can make a tutorial video about that would be extremely helpful to someone and then help them to make a connection with you and your business? You know, one of the things that inevitably will come up is, you know, especially like if you're dealing with folks that I've coached, like gamers who store a lot of information on their computer, how can I defragment my hard drive? Like I've got a ton of data on my hard drive and it is just, you know, I'm at 100 of, you know, I'm at 199 of 200 gigabytes on, you know, my solid state drive. What do I do to get this down? Well, in a lot of cases with someone like me, if I'm rendering video all the time, there's a temporary folder in Adobe Premiere that's keeping all of these huge files that literally could make up probably 50, depending on how long it's been since I've cleaned it out, to 60 of these gigabytes. And there's some tools out there that I'm sure if you're a PC repair person, you know exist. You can make a 2-minute video that shows somebody how to download the tool that shows them where these files are, right? And then you can just say, here's how you clean it up. And then bam, you're up. Now you have at least 40 gigabytes free, whereas before, you know, you didn't necessarily have that, or 140 gigabytes free. So these are, or 140 gigabytes total space taken up. But the point here is there are things that you could be doing with how-to videos and tutorials, right? That like how to tie a tie. That's not something you necessarily need to sell to someone. No one needs to join your programs to be able to do that, okay? But they will seek you out, and this is a way that you can start to build rapport with your audience. For example, one of the tutorial videos I did was I ran into a problem when I was running a gaming channel here on YouTube. So how-to tutorials, that's the first one. Hopefully you had a chance to jot that down. When I was running a gaming channel, I was using a piece of hardware that really, really gave me a hard time in making videos. And basically I tried everything to fix it, and then I had things that did fix it for a time, but it didn't stay fixed and it would keep breaking. And so eventually I bought another piece of hardware, but I made a tutorial video walking other creators through, here's exactly what I did, all 7 steps. Hopefully one of them works for you, none of them work for me. I went and bought new hardware, and by the way, here's the new hardware that I bought. Hopefully you don't have to, but what was very helpful to other creators, because everyone's problem was slightly different, it walked them through potential solutions, some that worked, and if they were like me, in my case it didn't work, they had to buy new hardware. But that's something that you can just give to an audience that they'll now start to see you as a person that's helpful and respectful and want to support you going forward, so that when you do have something that they could potentially buy, they already think you're an expert because you're able to help them with a very serious problem. All right? And then there's other things that you can do in that space that we don't have time to talk about here, but there's ways you can actually turn that into products that you can monetize down the road. But that's for a different discussion. So secondly, most of you who've been in business for a while, this should not come as a surprise. Testimonials. Okay, and in the case of YouTube, so I don't mean actors that you've hired. Don't go get Samuel L. Jackson to talk about your credit card that you're launching. All right, what this really is, because remember, YouTube is about personal interaction and connection. So for here, testimonials should be from people who are actually using your product. Maybe they come by the store, you ask them, hey, are you willing to get on a 30-second video to tell our audience why our services were so awesome? And then all you do in that particular case is you give them something for free to want to be on the video, as long as they're cool with being on video. And most people are like, yeah, I'll give you a free diagnostic next month for any of your devices if you just shoot a 30-second video, or if you sell a different type of product. Let's say you're in like a network marketing program where you sell coffee or tea. And there's a ton of those programs out there. You say, hey, look, I'll give you a week's supply of coffee if you just shoot a quick 30-second to a minute video to tell people why our coffee is the best, what you love about it. And so what you do is you don't go out and get actors, you get people who aren't necessarily natural on camera. Why? So when I deal with businesses, usually they want everything to be really polished and really, really refined. But that's not what works. What works on YouTube is relatability. I can't relate to Samuel L. Jackson trying to sell me a credit card, but I can relate to a person who may be a little awkward on camera. Maybe not me, because I'm a bit of a showman, but I can relate to that person just saying, hey guys, this is Mike. I just bought, I've been buying coffee from whatever, for whatever the name of your business is, for a long time, and I love it. And here's what I love about it. It's got rich flavor and robust texture. And I don't know anything about coffee, clearly, because I don't drink it. But the point is, you're able to have a very natural, real, and authenticity is key. Having an authentic experience for your viewer to be like, well, if the average, Joe or Mike likes this coffee, maybe that's a reason for me to give it a shot, right? And so this is really powerful, especially on your sales pages. You're gonna want to have people talking about you, because nobody wants to buy something that nobody else wants. Have you ever heard the old cliche that, when a guy finally gets a girlfriend, like nobody wants this dude, but he finally gets a girlfriend, and then all the ladies want him? Well, because a woman doesn't want, and it's totally a cliche and not necessarily true, but it's a woman wants a guy that other women want, not somebody that nobody wants, right? And so testimonials are really a part of building that social proof, which if you've been in business for a while, this probably isn't surprising to you, but what I'm trying to drive home is that there's a right and effective way to do this in video. Okay, that may be a little bit different than going out and getting Ben Affleck to talk on your commercial, right? And there's actually been some studies where in the YouTube space, going out and getting celebrities and influencers isn't quite as powerful as people assume that it would be, like it is on conventional media. But again, number 2, testimonials, 2 out of 7. All right, let's talk about number 3, which is, and this is one of my favorite ones, especially for businesses that are service-based, okay? I'll tell you what I mean in a second. All right? Behind the scenes footage. So you ever been watching one of your favorite movies and they have a gag reel at the end, right? And you love that part because that's the part where you get to see the authentic actors you get to see the actors authentically being themselves, right? They're not acting. At this point where they're acting, but they usually mess something up and then they come out of character. Like one of my favorite movies that does this is the Rush Hour series, where you just have Chris Tucker being a hilarious buffoon. Like he's funny throughout the movie, and then in the gag reel, like there's a part in the gag reel where he's always messing up. Instead of calling Jackie Chan Lee, he keeps calling him Jackie. He's like, Jackie, kick the door, man. Kick the door, Jackie. And he's like, dude, this brother's name is Lee. Stop calling him Jackie on the movie. And the reason why those are so powerful is because you're getting to hang out with Chris at that point, not Detective Carter. Right? You're getting to see the real Chris, the real person, this person who's made you laugh and made you happy throughout the entire film, and now you feel a connection with him. And it's the same principle on YouTube. But the difference is with your B2C business, like one of the things I wish, because I have a lot of friends in this business, is like folks that run brick and mortar stores, like a barber shop. Oh, dude, like a reality TV show. And I don't mean like bringing in a real film crew and doing a real reality TV show, but just the camera on your phone and filming, especially if you're in, a black barber shop where there's just kind of a code. Like, if you've ever seen the movie Barbershop, that movie is kind of exaggerated, but there is an authenticity to that, where the barbershop is a place, it's a social gathering place where people come to debate things and connect with one another, right? So showing that on a video can be very powerful, right? Let's, like my wife, I tell her all the time, my wife runs a bakery. And I'm like, you should just film yourself messing up. Like, I should film you messing up stuff and just crack jokes on you while you're totally demolishing this person's cake that you're eventually going to have to go back and fix. Because that makes you more personable. It makes people relate to you much better. All right, so behind the scenes can be very powerful. And this goes not only for my business owners out there who are focused on life, but this goes for you individual creators as well. Okay, and I'm looking over here to see if I've got any comments. I've got Special JKM says hi, and Settlin says hello, everybody. Hello, folks. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming back, as always. So, behind the scenes, really good stuff. Excellent stuff here. All right. Number 4. Now, I see this a lot with folks on their websites, but this is a way that you can use YouTube to help accelerate it, and that's a vlog, which is really just a video blog. Now, many of you that have websites for your businesses may already have a blog, where this is something you'll see game developers do, especially independent game developers. They will basically diary the entire development process of their game. They're like, hey, this week we're going to PAX East to show people this kind of alpha build of the game, to start getting some feedback from our players and from our audience to figure out if the direction we're going in is going in the right direction. And they'll catalog this whole experience on their website. And readers like me, if it's a game that I'm really interested in, I'll go and read that because I want to know. Like, inevitably inside there, they will drop some news, because a lot of times with game development, you don't get release dates. So games that I'm really excited to play, I'm waiting. When are they going to tell me it's releasing, right? And usually in those blogs, you'll hear them start to talk about when they're ready to start having the conversation about release dates. You'll hear them be like, hey, yeah, we're going to be releasing soon. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm getting excited. So a blog is a very powerful way to keep your viewers connected with you. But a video blog or a vlog is also a very powerful way to do that, because it allows the viewer to connect with you in a much more tangible way. Reading text on a screen is cool, but getting to see who my developer is, getting to hear his or her emotion behind what he or she is saying, right? Getting to hear the frustration of when development and all the programming is just not going as right, or the sadness that they have to convey when they have to push the release date of their game back. To me, that's much more powerful in a vlog. And what I run into with all of these, with the people that I coach, is they don't really know how to create this stuff. And that's what I'm going to start helping you do as you get access to my free. So basically tonight I'm going to be sharing with you, you're going to get access to my ebook for free. Now, when I wrote it, I originally wrote it for gamers on YouTube, but rest assured, anybody that's going to start a YouTube channel can learn from the principles in that. So don't be put off by the title. It's the YouTube Gamers Survival Guide. And there is some stuff in there that's very specific to gamers, but most of it is specific to folks that want to grow a valuable, but also invaluable in terms of the value that they give to an audience, but also a profitable YouTube channel, one that helps them earn money from what they create, right? So you're gonna get access to that tonight, all right, before this is all said and done. And I'm also gonna give you access to another ebook that I use to help build out everything. So especially if you're just getting started in business or you haven't started yet, I'm gonna give you access to a book that helped me build my website to be able to sell my products effectively, and understanding how to position my products and make sure that I'm targeting the right audience with my products, okay? And it doesn't matter if you're a seasoned veteran or a person that's just getting started. Both of these books that I'm giving you access to are absolutely going to help you build your brand in the YouTube space and build your brand on your website and across the board to help you reach whatever it is whatever your goals for success are, okay? So don't discount the power of being able to just turn on a camera phone and say, hey guys, Bill here from the PC Repair Shop. This week, I'm happy to report that we just moved into our new offices, and what that's going to allow us to do is provide you, more expert support and help, because now we have access to more, we have bigger space where we can take on more orders, anything that your viewers can connect with and want to be a part of is going to help you create the trust with your brand that you're going to need, especially in this modern society where trust is everything when it comes to your business. If you don't have the trust of your people, you're not selling product. And it goes beyond just you making a profit. You're not able, like the way I see the way businesses should work is that we are ambassadors to people to help them solve their problems. And we happen to make money for doing it because at the end of the day, we all have to eat. But the more important thing is I'm helping you solve a problem. If I can't help you establish trust in me, I'm not going to be able to do what I'm created to do, which is help you. And that's the way I think businesses should work. Unfortunately, all of them don't. Not all businesses are quite that empathetic or that altruistic, okay? But they should be. And making the connection with your audience helps you to convey that, all right? So vlogs are a very powerful way in which we can get that done. Where are we at? Number 5, I think? Moving right along. Oh, I love this one. Number 5. Unboxings. Now, if you are new to the YouTube space, or if you're an older person, unboxings may be a thing you've not heard of. This is like a tech demo, or basically doing a demonstration of one of your products, where you pull a camera out and you film yourself opening the product and showing people all of the technical specs, but more importantly, you're trying to convey to the people why this product is valuable and how it's going to serve your audience well. Okay, so if you're in the service-based business, an unboxing is probably not going to make a whole lot of sense unless your service-based business comes with some type of tangible product. But this is more for my folks who are selling tangible products. So if you're selling video games, if you're selling, some type of hardware, some type of application, some type of tool that you're selling to help people do what they do. And unboxing is a great way not only to promote your product, but to showcase the utility of your product. So one of the best, and it's not necessarily an unboxing, it's probably more along the lines of a how-to video or more like a vlog. Blend Tech used to do these videos, Will It Blend, where they put golf balls and like an M16 rifles into their blender. I'm exaggerating. And they would see was the blender powerful enough to break this stuff and turn it into dust. And it was huge. So one of the most powerful things in video that you can do to get people to want to watch is to create this element of excitement. Right? And in our YouTube Ninja Academy, which when you get the ebook for free, you'll also get access to that. If you want to get access to that, that's something that you have to join. But we teach folks how do you build that level of excitement in a video, because it's not easy. It's not something that just comes natural to people. It's something that takes a lot of practice and a lot of understanding of human psychology and knowing what's going to surprise a person. Right? It's not just like, I can't just come on screen and scream at the camera. That's going to surprise people, but it's also going to scare people to death and make them leave. So there's a balance there. All right, let's see. We've got David's Den says hello. Hello, David. Good to see you, my friend. So unboxings, very powerful way to let your viewers understand why your product is useful and valuable. But it's also like, if you make something that's really sleek and sexy, an unboxing video is a way to show. Because depending on the type of product you sell, some products are luxury products. Not everything is about utility. Like if you sell a really sexy set of headphones and you're like, look at these headphones as I pull them out of the box, and they just shine. Like it, and I'm not saying you got to do a crazy Barry White, love song voice. But the point is you can showcase the beauty and the aesthetic greatness of a product as well. It's really a great way to show off your product that pictures on Amazon don't have the power to do. Because so if a picture is worth 1,000 words, a moving picture is worth 1,000,000, right? A moving picture is going to let people see all of the nuance and see the things that, like one of the things that I struggle with shopping on Amazon is if I'm needing to buy a piece of hardware and I need to know, no nonsense, Does it have the proper ports? Like if I'm buying a mixer to do a lot of my vocal recording that I do on other channels that I run, or if I'm producing music for somebody, and I need to know if this mixer I'm buying has all of the inputs and outputs that I want. And sometimes the pictures don't show me that. But when I go to YouTube and I find somebody who's reviewing the product, or in some cases, like Behringer, for example, will sponsor you. You know what I mean? That's another thing we'll talk about in another video is you don't just have to sell your products as a business. You may affiliate with other businesses and help them sell their products and get products in the process. And I'm watching this Behringer video and I can see the person showing me, oh, it does have USB out. Excellent. Now I know. Amazon didn't show me that, right? So videos are a very powerful way to let your customers know exactly what they're getting, the value, the utility, but also the beauty of your product. If you're making something, or if like you're making makeup or jewelry, you can actually show people wearing it. Not just a still life, but a person who's moving so they can get an idea of, if I'm trying to sell makeup, I can Photoshop somebody to a high degree and make it look better than it really is. All right? On a YouTube video, all the lighting and camera tricks in the world aren't going to make it as easy to fake whether this person really looks beautiful. Not that it can't be done, because it absolutely can, but the video is going to make that much more tangible. All right, so where do we leave off? Number 6. This is a really, really powerful one, especially for those of you selling information products. And that is what we're doing tonight. This is exactly what's happening tonight. We are doing a live hangout or a webinar. I tend to not call it a webinar because unless you're in this industry, you may not know what in the world that word means. I usually try to keep my stuff very simple for my audience. Not that my audience doesn't understand what it is, but someone maybe if they look at my YouTube title and they're like, webinar? What the heck is a webinar? I guarantee my grandmother has no idea what a webinar is. And make no mistake, there's people her age in business. So I try to keep it as simple, but for the sake of this discussion, webinars and live hangouts are extremely powerful. A live hangout is what's happening right now. I'm sharing with you very valuable information that you can go and apply as you get your YouTube channel started, or if you're a business or a creator who's already started one and you're stuck, you can apply a lot of these principles we're telling you here to help get you some of that momentum that you want to see, maybe some of that growth that you want to see. So the live hangout not only allows my viewers to connect with me, not only allows my viewers in this particular case, Senelin says, hate that word webinar, see? That's why I don't use it. And then Flame 300 says, that's one thing I learned the hard way is connecting with my audience. Now I'm having a live discussion with my audience right here, right now, live and in living color. So not only is that going to help you make a human connection with me, it's going to build trust. You're going to get to see me live, so you're going to get to see all of my mistakes if I make any, right? But the bottom line is you're going to see authenticity. I can't get up here and fake in front of you because it's live, okay? I can answer questions. I can connect with my audience in a very tangible way that, again, the whole purpose here is you're building trust in your brand. You're building trust that your products, like if you're doing an unboxing or a tech demo, which I kind of lump in together with an unboxing, you're showing your people how your product works. Now, you have to be careful with that because I've seen some videos on YouTube where they do a tech demo and it's clear, especially with audio equipment. I hate sometimes watching audio equipment reviews because the people clearly are doctoring the sound. They'll be like, yeah, this is what it sounds like out of the box. I'm like, that's not how it sounds out of the box. There's no, and I actually got duped into buying a product one time that the videographer made it sound so amazing. This is what it sounds like, just pure, and then I got it. I was like, I don't sound nothing like that. All right, so you have to be careful. You have to be honest with your people, okay? And I'm not saying that this person necessarily lied. I'm just saying my experience was different, very different from theirs. But this live hangout is a way for you to give a ton of value out to your audience, establish a connection, establish trust and rapport, and then it's something that you can do on a regular basis where now people want to come. Like when I do these live hangouts, usually when I do them earlier on weekends, I get a lot of viewers that show up because they're used to me giving a ton of value in these videos here, right? And then eventually some people join and they get into the programs that I do that aren't for free. because they're like, well, if he's giving this much value in a free webinar or a free live hangout, right? Or I call them live calls when I send out emails. They're like, he has to be giving, like if he's giving this much away, what is he selling? Right? I've had people tell me that, like, what in the world is in your program if you're telling people all of this stuff here? And I'm like, a lot. Because what I'm telling you here is it's never going to be the whole story. In my program, if you count the stuff I've done for free, there's over 100 hours of content of me showing you how to understand the YouTube platform. That is a series by itself, and it's not one video. It's a series of, anywhere from 20-minute to 2-hour videos of me walking you through how YouTube works. It's not something I can do on a webinar or a live call without losing my voice, because it's too much information, right? So I'm giving you what I can give you in this format, and just like you may sell an information product, or like if you're the PC repair person, you can do a live show where you show somebody how to install a GPU. For those of you who are watching, if you don't know what a GPU is, don't worry about it. Ask the other people on this call who are PC technicians. But you can show people how to install a GPU, or how to install, I just recently had to install a new power supply in my PC, and it was harder than I anticipated, right? Just because of the way my PC was configured. Not that installing a power source is intrinsically difficult. It's just the way my PC was configured. It was very hard. And if somebody had this, like if I were a PC repairman, I'm not, I could show them, if you have this same model that I have, just brace yourself, because replacing your power supply is not easy, but it can be done. It's just going to take you an hour to get it done properly. But you get the point there. Number 6. Number 7. Let's see what we have in the magic bag for number 7. So in number 7 is really just a principle. It's not a type of video. Now, for a lot of you in business, especially folks who are new in business, this may seem counterintuitive, this give away more than you sell. But I think that's the way business and customers, this is just my philosophy. You don't have to subscribe to this philosophy. It's just the way I roll. But I think the best businesses understand this. This idea of giving away more than you sell somebody is a way where my customers, my viewers win because they get more than they paid for. And I win because they still pay for things and I still make enough to be happy, for it to be fair. One of my mentors has always taught me, when you're selling something, the price should be 10 times less than what they get out of it. So if I charge $100 for something or $200 for something, I'm expecting my viewers to get at least $2,000 worth of something out of it. Okay? If I'm selling something for $1,000, which we'll talk about that here at the end of the video. My Ninja Academy, I'm in the process of building. It's already there, but I haven't built the website around it yet. I have a business builder part of my Ninja Academy. It's called the Black Belt. So I have different belt systems in my academy. I have the Green Belt, which teaches people the YouTube platform, how it works, and how to build a content strategy. All right, and then there's the Blue Belt, which is the advanced creator tactics and strategies, things that you need to understand, not just to do it right and effectively, but to accelerate growth. And then I have now what I'm calling the Black Belt, which is similar to what we're talking about here tonight, which is this business building. How do I use YouTube to promote a business that I already own, or how do I use YouTube to become my business in some way, shape, or form, or wrap a business around what I do on YouTube? Right? So if you look at the most popular YouTuber on the planet, his name is PewDiePie, with 40 million subscribers plus on YouTube, maybe close to 50 now. But he has a business around what he does. It's not just putting out videos every single day, which he does, but he also sells products. So he's been able to use his fame to sell products and to make himself ultimately profitable. If you're, as a business owner, already have products, you've got the hard part of the battle done. And that's the beauty of marketing your work, your services, your products, your message on YouTube, is that if you're already a business owner, especially if you've been in the game for a while, a lot of the stuff that I need to teach you and that I need to teach creators in the academy, you're already going to have a leg up because you've gone through some of the legwork. I just have to show you how to take your legwork and make it work on YouTube, because it's different. All right? It's not just, the principles may be the same, the success principles may all be the same, but you have to understand the rules of the platform change. All right, so this principle of you have to give away more than you sell, that's the way I live it. I do free calls like this usually at least once a week, and they're 2 hours long before I get somebody into my programs where we do even more content and more. Like I just did a 4-hour long live call with people in my Black Belt Ninja Academy where I did one blue belt session where I was showing people some advanced tactics for how to grow their channel, especially if their channel is small, or if they're just starting their channel, or if they're struggling with their channel. And then I had, we talked about how to build a website around your YouTube channel. Business owners, you may already have a website, but I talk about not only the value of having a website, but how to build one and not spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on developers building it. Right? I use some tools that are, for me, very cheap. And actually, one of the promotions I'm going to show you here tonight is going to show you how to get that stuff also very cheap, the same way that I do. And it's a product that I very heavily believe in because it's not only brought me success, I just love it because it makes my life easier. I'm a computer scientist, so I know how to do a lot of the code that I'm talking about, but I also know how much time that takes. And I can't balance coaching thousands of people every week and being a full-time programmer for my website. So I outsource that to another company who I trust and charges me very little to get it done, and they deliver a product that's probably 100 times what I'm spending for it. In fact, what I charge clients to do that type of work is way more than what they're charging me in the tool that they're giving me. So it made me have to rethink, is what I was charging back in the day when I was doing that type of consulting fair? Back in the day it probably was because the tools didn't exist. But the point is, when you come to the YouTube space, even if you don't believe in this, I'm going to encourage you to adopt it. Because when you come to the YouTube space, your viewers are going to expect this. They're going to expect that you give them of your hard-earned time, your sweat, and your effort completely for free. Your viewers are going to expect you to do this. Why? Because all the people they view that they love already do. So if you come here with a mentality that you're going to sell more than you're going to give away, you're going to lose. Because nobody in this space is winning doing that. Not the way, like a PewDiePie is winning, right? Most of the people I know that are highly successful in YouTube are also highly successful in their business. And it's because they give away, they give more value than they ask for in the money that they receive. Okay, if you've been in business for a while, I don't think I need to tell you that. But it's something that I think does bear saying, especially for folks who are new to the game, who you may be trying to start a business because you're trying to find a way to make more money for your life, but you haven't really worked through the principles of what a business is designed to do. You may still live with the myth that the purpose of a business is to earn money, and nothing could be further from the truth. The purpose of the business is to build a customer and to serve that customer. And profit is the result of serving a customer well. Don't ever forget that if you're new at this. All right, that's 7. Let me give you 8, a bonus joint. What I like to call the bonus joints. Let me check the comment section here to make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, I've got, let's see, simple example is, David's Den says, you get something in a giveaway, you will make a video for that eventually, and they get a commercial. They get free advertising, more people buy the product. Sutherland says, I sub to a homesteader who sells the tools he uses on his Amazon store because people want to know where they can get these tools. Absolutely. Absolutely, it's good stuff. All right, so number 8, the bonus joint. I'm going to contradict myself here on purpose. This was planned, ladies and gentlemen. Don't panic. Now, at the beginning of this video, I told you that commercials are not what works on YouTube. Right? But if you do everything right, you do it in the right way and understand how YouTube works. Again, things that I'm going to teach you with my free book, the other free book that I'm going to give you access to, and the programs that I have that are at the tail end of those free items. You do all these things right, and what you're creating will become a commercial. And the one exception to this rule are people like Old Spice, their commercials are entertainment, right? I mean, they make them specifically, and Geico is somewhat good at this too, where you enjoy watching their commercials because they're funny. You know, there's like a dude riding an elephant with the diamonds shooting out of his hands, or Terry Crews running around with no shirt on, flexing on everybody. So there are commercials that do work on YouTube. Don't get it twisted. But what I want you to focus on more specifically as it relates to your business or your channel is if you do all these things, these 7 things that I showed you, and there's more than 7, we'll, in the programs, when you get in there, I'll walk you through a lot of other things that you could be doing. And if you join our VIP program, which is a whole other separate thing, you get once a month access to me live where you can actually talk to me, not type comments in a comment section. You can actually get live access to talk to me and ask questions. And I can answer your questions live in living color. Like I said, we just did one last night that went for about 4 hours. And so in those calls is where we can fill in some of the blanks. I'm giving you kind of 7 of the biggest ones that a lot of people talk about. And I tossed a few of them in that I personally have found success with. But if you do all this right, then you're going to find that your channel becomes a commercial without being a commercial. It becomes the commercial that everybody wants to watch. And that's why I brought up Old Spice. Your channel becomes the commercial people look forward to seeing, not the commercial they try to skip through because the commercial is just trying to sell them something. Okay, and that's really the main takeaway for tonight's discussion. What I want to do for you all tonight, today, whenever you may be watching this, for those of you that aren't watching live and are watching after the fact, is I want you to look in the description of the video that you are now watching. I'm going to write it on the board as well. All right. I'm going to go to my website. There's 2 links in the description. One is going to take you to alloy7.tv/ebook. That's where you can get my ebook completely for free. And then, yes, it's called the YouTube Gamer's Survival Guide. I'm actually in the process of writing a second version of it, which just strips out all of the gaming jargon and makes it a bit more focused on business owners. All right, it's going to take me some time to finish that. Just get this book for now. It's not going to be so greatly different when I'm done with the other one that you're going to feel like you missed something, or you should that you needed to wait for the new one. Just get this one now. I'm mostly changing it mostly just for branding, so it's congruent with the message. You know, I'm telling marketers to go download a gaming book, and they're like, what the heck is this? Like, the heuristics in your brain aren't going to allow you to pay enough attention. Be like, oh, he wrote on the page, yeah, this is about gamers, but trust me, it'll work for you too. That's even in the copy on the website. But download it, business owners, gamers, whatever you may be, DIY, entertainers, whatever it may be. And this is going to walk you through the principles of how to build a channel from scratch. All right? And how do you then build said channel in a way that's going to be valuable to viewers so that they will want to be a part of what you're doing? And then how do you build out a strategy to build the content for the channel such that you have something regularly happening that people want to watch and are watching? Remember, YouTube is about regularity and continuity. It's not about uploading a video once a year. That's not really going to help you in the long run, okay? And one of the things that I want to drive home for my business owners is do not be afraid that this creating video is going to take a monumental amount of time from your life or from your business. I'm going to show you ways when you get into the programs I'm going to talk about here in a second, where you can, like last night, matter of fact, on the Black Belt VIP call, I had somebody ask me, how do you manage your schedule? Because you run 3 YouTube channels, you run 2 businesses that have a bunch of different arms that are doing different things. You know, your wife runs a business, you have a ton of kids. How are you managing all this? And I'm like, it's a system. All right, I'm not smart enough to manage all that stuff by myself, but I have a system. And those are the things that I'm going to show you. Once you go through the ebook, you're also going to get offered that green belt, blue belt, and black belt programs that I offer in what's called the YouTube Ninja Academy. Okay, remember, the black belt for you business owners is the one that you're really interested in because it's the business builder. It's focused specifically on those of you that either already own a business or you're hoping to turn YouTube into a business or to build a business around what you do on YouTube. That's what this is focused on. So the ebook is totally free, by the way. It's, I think Amazon, I still have it for sale up there, but if you go to this link, you'll get it for free. All right. And then you're going to be on our mailing list as well. That's how you get the ebook. I email it to you once you join the mailing list. And I send out a lot of valuable stuff on my mailing list that I don't put in the videos as well. Like ideas that I have that I don't necessarily want to turn into a video. I don't. I just write up an email, say, hey guys, here's something I was thinking about today. I think it'll really help you. Boom, send. All right, so you're going to get value there as well. Here's the beautiful part of how the Ninja Academy works. So I'm going to put question marks over here. All right, so the green belt, the kind of the basic entry level, here's how you do all of your search engine optimization. Here's how you build a content strategy. It's $47. The blue belt, where we get into advanced tactics, how to be compelling, what makes compelling video, how to understand how your personality type affects the type of content that you should be making, the type of schedules you should be keeping, and whether or not you should be a creator or partnering with somebody else who's helping you create while you're the visionary. That's what the blue belt's going to help you do. It's also going to give you things like 8 tips to building a successful channel. It's one of the main videos, really popular videos in that program. And then the black belt, again, is for the business builders. The cool part is, as you go through this progression with the links that the link I provided tonight, as you go through this, if you want all of these things, for example, you're going to get the green belt first, and it's going to ask you if you want the blue belt. The blue belt's going to then be discounted by $100. So right now, tonight, instead of paying $250 to get into the blue belt, you are going to simply be paying, you wouldn't pay $250 anyway. Instead of paying $197 to get into the blue belt, what you're going to end up paying is basically $150. Because if you're a green belt member, as soon as you say you want to be a blue belt member, we discount $100 off. And so it actually ends up being like $140 and some change. The beautiful part for my business owners, and now those of you who are watching this tonight while I'm recording, or even those of you after the fact, I feel bad for folks who didn't watch this live. The cool part about all this is if you join tonight, you're going to get into the business builder for free. Because I haven't built that part of the website yet, where it's going to actually charge money. So my loss is your gain. All right? And this is where I'm helping you actually put the system in place. So all these things that I just spouted off tonight, these 8 principles, these 8 ideas that help you market your products and your services and your message, they're all great. But you have to have a system that helps you understand which one, for example, which one of those should you do first? My list wasn't in order, okay? Not because I'm lazy, but because I basically mapped it out the way I mapped it out for the sake of convenience. But there are certain things that you probably shouldn't be doing when you first start your channel that you could be using that time to do something else. And the system that I'm talking about in these programs is going to help you as a business owner, especially over here. The system I'm going to show you is going to help you turn those 8 principles, those 8 ideas into something that's very successful for your business. Hopefully, depending on what your business is and how well you implement the principles that we teach you. I don't make any guarantees because I don't know what your business is. You might be selling rocks to people who live in the woods. I can't really help you with that. You know what I mean? But the cool part is, if you make this move tonight, then you get in the business builder for free. Now, here's the cool part about that. Next month, this green belt is going up to $497, and this black belt is going to be $997. All right? So keep that in mind. If you get in now, you're going to save yourself a ton of loot getting into the program and making it happen now. Now, those of you who are watching after the fact, hopefully I don't already have this set up. And you can definitely take advantage of the fact that it's just I haven't built it yet. So I figured I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to keep this from people just because I haven't built the website yet. And I'm still, the flip side of that is true. The flip side of it is I'm still adding content to this. Right? So as we're building, I think it's also fair that when you show up and you're paying this much money for it, there should be much more content already in it. All right, there will be content regularly added to it. Like I said, I just added 2 lessons to this tonight, and I added another lesson to this, to the blue belt. So we constantly upload content, but I don't want people tonight paying $9.97 for a couple hours of video, right? I want to make sure it's strong and robust enough to justify paying that type of cost. Because like I said, I want to give away more than I sell. Anyway, that's really what I wanted to share with all of you tonight. Hopefully you got a lot out of it. I will be here to take a couple questions if I have any. So feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And allow me to thank you for your time. It's been a blast. It's always a blast coming before you guys. Let's see what folks are saying over here in the comment section. So Davis then says, Linus Tech Tips does this wonderfully. And that's another thing that we'll do also in the program is I do a lot of not just practical exercises. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention is you don't just get access to these videos. You also get invited to a private Facebook group where other creators, other people who are in this can help you as well. So you're not just working with me, because I don't know everything, all right? For example, I know how to build a YouTube channel and grow an audience because I've been certified in it, but I don't know everything about beauty products. So for me to get up here and tell you about all my wisdom on how to make a beauty product, I don't really know it. So as more people get into the academy, you're gonna run into folks like we have digital artists, we have illustrators, we have artists, we have geek culture folks, we have folks that are more knowledgeable on topics than I am in that specific arena. So you're not just learning from me and the great minds of the folks who've trained me and mentors on and off of YouTube, books I've read. You're also learning from other creators who can help you, who, especially folks who have been, this academy has been running for the better part of a year now. It's almost a year old. And so there's people who've been in it from the beginning who can bring you up to speed. You don't just have to rely on my knowledge, and they can give you their practical examples, their success stories, their failures, so that they can help you avoid the failures and help you apply the things that they've done well. All right, so what I'm building here is not just a place for you to come and watch a bunch of training online, because that's what it is. This is all online training through video, but also through the emails I send and through the posts that I make in the private Facebook group. But it's also a community where you can go ask other creators, especially if you find a creator who's similar to you. You can ask them, hey, what do you think about this video I just made? A lot of times people ask me for my opinion on video, and you don't just want my opinion, because my opinion on video it's influenced by what I like. And a lot of what's popular on YouTube are not things that I like. So if you're posting a video that's very much pop culture stuff, and you're asking me my opinion, like if you're asking me for the technical breakdown and objectivity of it, I can do that. If you're asking for my opinion, you're going to get a biased opinion, so you get the opinions of other people and folks that can maybe give you a better eye because they're into something that I may not be. All right, so it becomes the network effect. And for those of you who've been in business for a while, you know exactly what that is. All right, so questions. So Ernesto Vasquez says, how do we get the black belt for free right now? Well, you don't get it exactly for free. What you do is you go to alloy7.tv/ebook, download the free ebook. It's going to immediately take you to the green belt offer. You would purchase the green belt offer. It's going to ask you then if you want to be a VIP, which I do highly recommend if you can afford it. But if not, you can either accept the VIP or turn it down. It'll take you here to the blue belt. At the end of the day, if all you do is the green belt and the blue belt, you will have spent about $144, I think is when it's all said and done. And once you've done this, it's going to grant you access to the black belt without having to pay the $9.97. So it's not free. You will have paid $144 for the black belt. And if you want to be a VIP where you get these types of live coaching calls in person, private calls, I don't put them on the YouTube channel here. They're private. If you want access to that, that's the VIP program. And I didn't write it up here, but it's $24.95 a month. I wanted to make it cheaper than most people spend on coffee in a week, so that you're not getting hit in the head with a crazy fee. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's how you get into the black belt without paying for the black belt, which is, again, $9.97. Now, eventually this will go up. The website will go up, so folks will have to pay. Here's the cool part, though, because a lot of people get scared about this, which it blows my mind. Like, I don't know the types of businesses I don't know the types of businesses people are dealing with, but it blows my mind when people ask me, well, if I get into the program at $144, when you launch the black belt, are you going to charge me for it? And I'm like, no, I just told you if you got in here, you get here. I'm not going to launch it after the fact and then be like, well, sorry guys, now you owe me $9.97. That's crappy. Like who are the businesses that are doing that? Let me know, because I don't want to deal with them. You know what I mean? Like you don't do business with people like that. That's not, to me, that it may not be dishonest, but it's jerk. It's being a jerk. Like are you hurt that bad for money that you gotta, like, oh, I let you in this program, but now I gotta charge you for it? Now, if you tell the people up front that that's what's gonna happen, that's cool. But I have had some people who are in the program and they hear this and they're like, oh, am I gonna have to pay extra when this thing launches? No, you got in the program on the established deal, and I told you were a black belt. Boom. You know, the cool part is, and why I always tell people, one of the biggest regrets anybody will have in their life is missing opportunities. And I will share this with you. There are people in this program right now today who are here, and by the way, let's just write it so I can drive the point home. They're in the black belt and they're VIPs, and you want to guess how much they're paying? It's going to make you cry. It's going to make you upset that you weren't here back in January when I launched this. You want to know how much they're paying to be in the black belt and be a VIP? Not $9.97, not $4.97, not $1.97, not $47. These folks are paying $5 a month because they were here first. And these are people that had been supporting me and my channel for a long time. So I wanted to give back to the community. I wanted to support the people who believed in me enough when I started this. They got access to all this for $5 a month. So the point there is, if this is something you want to do, I would encourage you, I won't tell you how to live your life, but I'll encourage you not to be one of the people who tells me, oh, I'm thinking about getting in there, man. I'm going to think about it. Because the more you think about it, eventually I'm going to make the prices fair. Because when I first started, the prices were completely unfair for me. On purpose, I made it unfair for myself. Right? Because I wanted to prove that I could put something of value out there and not have to worry about the money and then have it be successful. That was my whole goal. And I wanted to give something back to the community of people who had been supporting me for so long. Right? Those people are really happy right now because it'll take them it'll take them years to ever get to this price. And by then, we may have moved on to something even more awesome that they'll probably get access to. Because basically the people who got in the beginning, every new thing I roll out, they're just in it. It's pretty much, and most of the time. Most of the time. But don't drag your feet. If it's something that you want to do, let's make it happen. Let's be ninjas. Like I said, ninjas are people who get things done. That's why I call it the Ninja Academy, because I don't want people who don't have ninja mentalities. Like if you're a person who's scared, or you're dragging your feet, or you're the person who doesn't want to work hard, let me tell you right now, in this program, you are going to work. It's not just me telling you a bunch of stuff that's going to make you awesome overnight. You're going to have to put this stuff into practice, and it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. For almost literally anybody, it will not happen overnight. Now, there's some things that I'll help you accelerate, especially those of you who've been around for a while, okay? None of the good that comes out of this happens overnight, all right? Let's just be real. I'm not going to sell you some nonsense, rainbow and unicorn story to get you to buy something. You're going to have to work. If you don't want to work, you want some easy kind of, let me just watch a couple videos and then I'll be rich in 6 months. That doesn't exist. There's plenty of people who will sell that to you, who are a bunch of freaking sociopaths out there who will just take people's money. I'm not in that game, yo. We're not doing that here. So if you're not here, if you're looking for an easy path, now this is easier than trying to do it by yourself. Don't get me wrong. This is going to make some things easy, but it's not going to lower the fact that you're going to have to work hard, and you're going to have to make some mistakes, and you're going to have some failure and learn from it, okay, and working to apply these principles. So hopefully, Ernesto, that got your question answered. Let's see what we got here. So Ernesto says, I'm doing my research on creating a gaming channel, but as well as do other things on the side, such as vlogs, challenges, etc. And I don't know if I should create a separate channel or just one. I got the ebook, and I'm planning to combine my research with it. Thank you very much. Okay, great. So, and Belgian Dan says hello. I didn't see you sneak in, Dan. Good to see you. So, that's a great point. Do you need to create separate channels? Really depends on, it's a bit too broad. There's not enough context there for me to answer the question effectively. I will say if you're doing vlogs and gaming, they could go together if the vlogs are related to gaming, for example. If your vlogs are about your pet cat, trying to mix that on a gaming channel, I'm not going to say it can't work, but I think what you'll find is if you're making pet cat vlogs and gaming videos, you're going to attract two different types of audiences, and then you're going to find yourself trying to balance content between the two. And for every 10 subscribers and how, more viewership you get over here, they're going to be put off every time you upload one of these, and they're not going to watch it. You're going to lose some engagement, and vice versa. Like people who, you got to remember, when people find your content on YouTube, they don't find it by coming to your channel and watching every one of your videos. They find it through search, which is another thing we're helping people do in this space. So they find the one video of yours. For example, what happened to me was I did a monetization video to help creators understand how to upload copyrighted content legally and how you go through the process of getting permission from copyright owners, specifically game developers and movie studios. I talked about music too, but my message with music was leave it alone. Unless it's approved YouTube music or it's, copyright free music, which you still need to be careful with, then just don't do it. And inevitably I still get a million questions. I want to upload a 50 Cent song. And it's like, sorry, don't. Not going to end well. Don't say, I'm not going to say I told you so, but so those are the things. When I did that monetization video, what I found was people wanted more and more and more monetization. But there's only so much talking I can do about monetization. It's not really that, it's not that complicated. It's just ambiguous. So people want these very black, like inevitably all the time, people want these black and white answers. Can I monetize this video that I just made? I don't know. Because I'm not going to watch your 30-minute video to tell you. You need to go do the research and watch the videos that I've created, and you make the determination. Because at the end of the day, the only person who can really tell you that is a judge, not me. I can tell you all the principles that YouTube's going to look for and what fair use says, but at the end of the day, the person who's got to make that call if your video is questionable is going to be the copyright owner in YouTube system, and if it goes off a YouTube system, it's going to be a judge. Now, granted, I can't imagine anybody is going to want to go get a judge for one video that you uploaded, but it can still put your channel in a very bad way if they do a DMCA or DCMA. I always get that backwards. It's online dyslexia. So can you suggest any books to read for gaming reviews? Dude, Adam Sessler suggested such a good book years ago, and I'm mad because I didn't buy it and read it back when I was reviewing games, and I don't remember the name of it. If it comes to me, I'll try to make mention of it in a future video. It has nothing to do with gaming. It has to do with critical analysis and critical journalism. And Adam is an extremely well-read human being, so anytime he recommends a book, I pretty much buy it and read it. For whatever reason I didn't do it in that moment, I should have. But if you go to Amazon and look up, critical journalism, critical reviews, you can probably find something reputable to do it. Another thing that will really help you with just reviewing in general is understanding psychology. Because if you look at my review system back when I used to review games, I very much, my whole review system, my patented gamer category review system, it's totally rooted in psychology. It's totally rooted in understanding how human beings think and behave, and then knowing what their experiences will be based on those tendencies and what I understand about psychology and what I understand about gamers and the way they like, and spending, my whole life playing video games, but then, a third of my life basically, based about 11 years writing about video games. You learn a lot about the way people are, and then learning about numbers and what games sell extremely well. It's not hard to start connecting the dots to why Call of Duties and the Grand Theft Auto 5s all sell these gangbuster numbers because they provide these visceral experiences that our human psychology is designed to respond very powerfully to and very emotionally to. So, and these designers, don't make no mistake, these designers know that, all right? These designers are philosophy majors and they're psychology majors. Game designers aren't just people that sit around and make up the rules for games. They're like George Lucas. They read everything and they know how to make a story and they know how to make an experience that, 50 years later, we're still jumping around in freaking stormtrooper costumes. All right, so anything along those lines will help you out. All right, it looks like we've gotten through all the questions. Last call. Any last minute questions before I go to filming some videos for some of my other outreach work that I do that's not social media marketing related? Anything? And I realize that YouTube's on a delay, so I'm going to wait a second for that question to get through the ether. All right. Well then, since there are no further questions, my friends, my great Americans, allow me to thank you all for joining me here tonight at Alloy 7. Remember, the whole goal here is for me to impart at least some small nugget of truth, of knowledge, of positivity that has a positive effect on your life. Remember that we are stronger than I love every one of you. Hopefully you got a ton out of what we talked about tonight. Feel free to leave me questions in the comment section once the video is done processing. Because if you do it now, the comments probably won't show. If you wait a couple hours, once the video is done processing, you can leave me comments, or you can just send me a direct message, or you can email me. Email address is actually on my website. A lot of people don't use it, but they can. It's actually my team's email box that we can all see, but I typically am the one that responds because the questions are directed at me. So feel free. If you have questions, you have concerns, you have issues, holler at me. And until next time, friends, until all are one, allow me to bless you, and I'll see you then. Peace.